This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me through this journey. We'd like to acknowledge and thank our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, Andre the Man in White, Chad Welsh, Sean McGuire, Rikky Morrisette, Giannis, Albert Lorenzo, and Eddie Costello. We'd like to thank and welcome a new member of our Wheel Weaves Patreon team. So hello to Eric, and thank you so much for your support and your generosity. It really does mean a lot to us. And in this episode, we're talking about chapters 4, 5, and 6 of New Spring.
Yeah, so chapter 4 is Leaving the Tower, chapter 5 is The Human Heart, and chapter 6 is Surprises.
Yeah.
So we get a little bit of stuff here, we get some things.
We got some stuff going on, and before we get into literally anything else, I am uber compelled to let everybody know that we are talking about up to book 5.
Yes.
Fires of Heaven.
Okay.
While we're reading New Spring.
Yeah, we're doing the spoiler warning again. We did it
last
episode,
I'm going
but
to
we
do
gotta
it
keep
every
talking
episode
about it,
in case somebody picks it up in the middle of New Spring.
Sure.
I wish they wouldn't.
Yes.
But if they do, I'm gonna say it. We've read up to Fires of Heaven, and now we're reading New Spring in time for the show to come out, and we're talking about things that happened up to the end of Fires of Heaven.
Yeah, so if you haven't read that far, go back and read that and then come back and visit us here.
And then we'd love for you to come back.
Yes.
Otherwise, likely you'll be spoiled on some major events.
Yeah, definitely.
On things that happen.
Okay, so here we go.
Here we are.
So do you want me to start with the fun fact then? We'll get into things and we'll go from there?
Do I want you to?
Yes. Yeah, of course it's a yes. Okay. I have a good one today because we get a little bit of an interesting question asked by Moraine because she's asking about the number of children in the other camps that they're taking names from and why there's so many babies being born.
Oh yeah, I was as surprised as Moraine was.
Yeah.
In these chapters.
And it's kind of funny because it's young Moraine, so
oh my god, they're gonna have to work so hard writing to every single village, trying to find one or two people that maybe had a baby. I thought this task was gonna be very difficult.
Interesting. Okay,
yeah.
So it's line up 50 to 100 in every camp almost. It's crazy.
Every single and this is just in the past 2 weeks, give or take, because some ladies are liars.
Yeah, but it's for money, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But the answer that I said Mylan, is that how you pronounce that name? Mylan?
Who's Mylan? Oh, the White Aes Sedai?
Yeah.
Sure.
Exactly. So Mylan says, if a man thinks he's going to die, they want to leave something behind, and when a woman thinks her man might die, she wants to take a part of him, so therefore babies.
Babies.
Right? And it kind of sounds like, that should make sense. However, increased birth rates during wartime doesn't actually seem to be a definitive thing. And if anything, there's actually a decrease in birth rates during wartime in real life.
And I think that it's post-war.
I know you would think that, but here's the thing. Because there's two things that actually do happen. So, number one, in post-war, there can be an increase in birth rates, and most notably, from World War II, the whole baby boom.
Baby boom.
But the big thing a lot of people misunderstand from that, it's not so much the whole soldiers returning from war thing. The baby boom is also suggested to have happened due to a significantly increasing economy. So a healthy economy equals more babies. It's not soldiers returning from war means more babies. So if there's a better economy, and that's why after World War II, there was such a big baby boom.
Okay.
The second thing that is a documented phenomenon is that there's an increase in boys being born during and post-war. So, and this isn't fully understood. There's some genetic explanations possibly. There's one explanation that says the taller the average height of people are more likely to have boys, and taller people are also more likely to return from war. So there's a correlation there, but it's not totally understood why more boys are born during wartime and afterwards, but it definitely does happen. So in this chapter, it's not correct.
Okay.
In real life, in our world, it very well could be a thing right now that's happening, though.
Sure, in their world?
Yeah.
Obviously.
In the Wheel of Time.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
but historically not for us.
Yeah, and I do have some scientific stuff about potentially why there might have been more boys than girls, and it has to do with the size and shape and speed of the sperm.
Yeah, I was reading through that, and I can't understand that, so that's why I said just genetic explanation.
Yeah, both times we were trying to have babies, I was like reading about all sorts of stuff. And so, yeah.
Well, the taller thing is funny too, because
the taller thing I hadn't heard before.
Yeah.
But the actual like science behind it makes some sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which,
to someone who understands the sciencey stuff.
Sure.
That's fine.
I mean, like, I'm not going to get into it here.
I got a better explanation. The pattern. The pattern's doing it. So, yeah.
Wheel weaves, man.
Got to cover up that Rand baby with lots of other babies.
That's why.
That's actually not a bad explanation.
Protect it.
Yeah, protect Rand baby with lots of other babies.
Oh, I actually love that way more.
Yeah, so people, Rand baby can't be found.
No more talking about sperms. It's the pattern.
It's the pattern.
Yeah.
Wheel weaves.
Okay. So, last time we were here chatting, we talked about the first 3 chapters of New Spring.
Yes.
We ended up talking for quite a while, which surprised me.
It's going to happen again tonight, probably.
You think so?
It could.
I think there's a little less to talk about this time.
Okay.
But I mean, don't put it past me and a glass of wine to talk for hours and hours about these books.
Yes.
So, here we are. Now, what happened last time?
Okay, so Lan almost died, but then didn't.
Right.
The Aiel totally know who he is.
He's the one man.
He's the one guy.
They were taking off.
They were leaving.
Yeah.
And then we had Guitar Moroso, who died after giving the foretelling.
That's right.
Which played out differently than you thought it would.
Yeah.
And then the current Amerlin was like, hey, y'all don't talk about this.
And then also, every accepted needs to go out and write down the names of every baby born now.
Now, because we got to give them money because we're such nice people.
Right.
But secretly because she wants to find the Dragon Reborn.
Yes.
And that's where we are.
Okay. So, chapter 4 is called Leaving the Tower, and we get the chapter symbol of the Flame of Tarvalon.
Yeah, this time you notice it, and it's not even an interesting one.
Oh my god, this chapter is so boring.
Oh, okay.
The other 2 I actually really enjoyed reading.
Okay.
This one took me a while to get through. I kept closing the book and putting it down.
Oh my goodness.
And then like coming back to it.
I can't believe you would say that.
It's like, oh my god, okay,
I got some good stuff for you here.
They're leaving the tower. Literally, the chapter title could have been the entire chapter. They left. They go.
Yeah, that's what they tell you at the beginning. They're leaving the tower.
They're leaving.
Okay.
All right, so we enter in our Moraine perspective. Moraine is getting ready to leave the tower to start recording the names of the children that have been born. And then we get pages and pages of description of her room.
We do.
Which is the same as Swan's and any accepted.
We got that last chapter.
We also got that in the books too with Elaine and Nynaeve and Egwene.
But it's also like all the stuff she's bringing. And notably, she is bringing her little dagger.
Yes, she is.
For protection, I like that.
Sure, she's also bringing a sewing kit and 8 pairs of shoes.
I love it.
And everything she could ever possibly need.
This is why she's like one of the last people.
I know. You know what, though? I feel this.
Yeah.
I am such an overpacker.
Oh, I know. As the one who has to carry the suitcases.
Unapologetically. I know I overpack, and I'm happy to do it. Because, listen, I will always be happy if I'm on my trip and there's something I want to wear and it's there.
Yeah.
And I'll never be unhappy if I don't wear everything that I brought.
Sure.
But let me tell you, if I'm on my trip and I want something that I didn't bring...
Fair, it's disappointing and
That
upsetting.
will piss me off.
It also kind of leads to the fact that Moraine is clearly cut out to be like an adventurer type.
Oh my god,
she's ready to go.
She could ever need.
She's super prepared.
I thought they were going overnight journeys.
For the
amount that she... I was like, what do you need a sewing kit for?
Yeah.
I thought they were just going out to a village and coming back, which is what they're doing.
Yeah.
But when I read this...
It's like 8 hours. It's like a work day.
Oh, yeah. Oh my god.
All the stuff.
The things that she brings. So all the other accepted are like running around frantically.
Yeah.
We also get some names of some Aes Sedai.
Oh, I'm so happy you looked at that.
That we've heard before, but we've also, I think, get names of people we haven't heard before.
Yeah, we do. We get some of both.
A bunch of names.
Okay, you go ahead and tell me who we've heard about.
Alana.
Okay, yeah, we know Alana.
I didn't write them down. This is just off my memory.
Okay. So we have a Madani, and we don't know that person. But we also get a Brendas.
We're going to go through every single one? No.
Just real fast. We have Brendas. Okay. We know Brendas.
Okay, yeah, Brendas.
Okay, you don't know Brendas.
Why?
I know that. Okay, you tell me where we know Brendas from.
The White Tower.
Okay, true. When, specifically?
One time.
She was involved in
The accepted testing.
No, Matt Cawthon's healing.
Matt Cawthon's healing.
Yeah, that's the important
Same
one I'm going
thing.
for here. So
Cool.
yeah, we also get Tamail.
Okay.
Come on.
She's a Black Aja.
She's Black Aja. She's the tortury one.
Oh, yes, okay.
She's the one who's torturing
but the one who
Amathera,
also
the
likes
Panard.
cats? Or no, that's a different one. Never mind.
And she also is the one who tortures Leandrin.
Oh.
Yeah, so
right.
Tamail. So the big question is, like, is she already Black Aja? Ooh,
Probably.
spooky. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, well, they're all bad people, so.
And then Edicina and Carlinia are both currently in Saladar.
Mm-hmm.
Carlinia's one of the 6 who's running it, and Edicina, Min had a viewing about her with a collar around her neck. Then it's shattering.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so good stuff.
Okay.
I mean, that's the important part of the chapter, right? So
Yeah, okay.
there you go.
Moving on. Maureen meets up with Swan now that she's ready, and Swan's like, "What? You're so late. Let's go."
She was packing.
And so it's mid-morning, they head to the stables, and then Maureen is annoyed that so many other accepted beat them down here.
Yeah.
Like, she wanted to be first, and
She's
she's like,
like,
well, then maybe you should have been faster.
Well, she's expecting everybody else to be packing and stuff.
Yeah. No.
Not.
Also, Maureen's competitive side comes out, and I like it.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
great.
Definitely.
So Maureen has her own personal horse
This is good, too.
that she's bought herself after passing the accepted test.
Yeah.
And it's sort of frowned upon, but
Sort of
she
medium.
just like did it anyway because
Yeah.
she's super rich and doesn't care what anyone thinks.
Yeah, she doesn't regret it.
Nah.
No regrets.
She's super happy.
She was
actually.
going to buy Swan a horse, too, and that
Yeah. But
was a no.
No. Swan was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't like horses.
We get some of Moraine, like, getting into trouble, too. She took her horse, like, fence jumping or something.
Oh, yeah, she shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And we also get that the saddles are already packed with some food and writing tools.
Yeah.
So Moraine thinks about how her accepted dress is not divided for riding, and men in the stable are looking at her legs.
Oh, my goodness.
No, thank you.
Yeah. It's happening to Swan, too, but she doesn't care.
Swan doesn't care at all. Okay, so their guard escort comes up, led by a soldier named Steeler.
Steeler? Is that it?
That's how it's in the
Okay.
audiobooks.
I'll go with that. That's
Or
fine.
Yeah. And so they head off, and there's a whole bit with Swan wanting to make sure that they're going to go to the west gate, because
Yeah.
obviously they want to head towards Dragonmount.
Yeah.
I secretly think... No, I don't secretly think. I openly think that Tamra,
Yeah. The Amerlin?
that's her name?
Yeah.
She secretly wants Swan and Moraine to go towards Dragonmount.
Okay.
To find, because she knows that they were there and
Yeah.
know exactly what she's up to.
Yeah.
So I thought this whole mission was like secretly just for Moraine and Swan.
Well, I was going to ask about that
Yeah.
because there's kind of like secret mission within secret mission, especially with the stuff that happens in the other chapters where now they're like looking at all the names and Tamara comes in and sees them.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's very convoluted as to what's actually happening. Is it coincidence? Was it random?
Yeah, no, but right now they are not headed
Yeah.
west. They're actually headed sort of southwest.
Yeah, they're headed west, but like more south and
Yeah, and
they're
it's not likely they're getting close to Dragonmount, which
Yeah.
they are not happy about.
that's where they got to get to. So
Yeah. And so then there are pages and pages and pages.
there's a lot.
This is the part that I couldn't actually get through.
Yeah, it's a description of like literally
Tarvalin.
every nation and every person from every place and what they look like and
And Swan is trying to figure out how Steeler's going to take them close to Dragonmount, which is interesting. But then we get a description of everyone in the city.
Yeah.
Literally everyone. It's people from all over the world.
yeah.
Yeah.
The best description here is the stubborn, overproud Andorans who lack imagination.
No,
That's my favorite.
That's
so.
good description. I like that, actually.
Well, it's also like Moraine's viewpoint on people of the world.
Yeah.
So like if that's what she's thinking and she walks into Andor,
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, they're
That's
stubborn.
Funny. That's
So,
funny. Okay. So we also get a Borderlander guy who is going to the White Tower.
Yeah.
And Moraine assumes he's going to go deliver a message.
Yeah.
And she wants to know about it.
She thinks about stopping him, but that obviously wouldn't work
No.
because, he's
You're-
not going to just stop her.
You.
So,
Yeah.
she's not like the Moraine yet.
No.
So, okay.
But maybe that message is the fact that King Laman is dead.
That's a good guess.
Because tomorrow we get Moraine finding... Or is it tonight?
Yeah, it's tonight.
Tonight that
It
we
is
find
tonight,
out
yeah.
he died yesterday.
Yes,
Okay.
because that was the same day that Rand was born,
Right.
right? Because that's when the whole prophecy thing happened.
That's
so.
the whole thing. And then also the trumpets and stuff, which were still unclear
Yeah.
about why that's happening today.
We can speculate, but yeah.
Okay.
Let's get there when the trumpet stops. So,
do you want to hear a bunch of description about the White Tower itself?
I do want you to...
Or do you want to talk more about the Ogier Masons doing repairs here?
I just want you to read out the description of the tower itself.
It's super beautiful.
It's a thick bone white shaft.
Oh no.
Oh yes, it is.
That's not what it says. No.
Yeah, the White Tower rose from the center of the city, a thick, bone-white shaft, climbing almost 100 spans.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You know what? And they say that Dragon Mount is the phallic symbol?
Come on.
No.
Come on.
It is not.
Okay.
It's the White Tower. That's the phallic symbol.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, we know what Ogier are too, so that's good.
Yeah. Speaking of the White Tower, though, the background on my work computer...
is now Tar Valon?
Is Tar Valon from
I love that.
the
show.
The show trailer.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. Okay.
Yeah, I like having it up there because then, and because I have it displayed on my smartboard for like a good part of the day, and if people see it, they'll think that it's like a real place.
Nice.
It's
love
funny.
it. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I can't wait to tell. Can't wait for someone to ask, where is that? That's what I've been waiting for. Anyway.
And then just act like it's a real place.
Yeah.
It's Tar Valon.
Yeah. Oh, it's Greece.
Yeah.
I took this picture. Something. Yeah. Anyway, so after an hour of traveling through Tar Valon, which seems wild, but it's a huge city.
Yeah. It's like 10 miles across we get.
Yeah, I know, but I just...
Yeah, so they have to walk
I know, I just forget.
a long ways.
Long ways.
Okay.
So they make it to the gate.
Yep.
And they make it over the mile-long bridge.
Well, they make it like, they
Part of
start
the
going
way.
over, so...
And then we also sort of get how Moiraine and Swan are feeling about getting out of Tar Valon.
It kind of sounds like they haven't actually left Tar Valon since they entered Tar Valon
Except for their training.
years ago.
Yeah.
Like, they're not allowed to leave ever.
No, because setting foot on the bridge constitutes running away.
Yeah.
And that's to be severely punished.
Yeah, it's like the worst thing you can do except murder.
Or to be like medium punished if you're stolen by a Black Aja.
Yeah,
as a novice. And...
Technically, they didn't go over the bridge.
No, they did not.
They went, yeah, that's different.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now at the highest point of the bridge, Steeler, is that what I said?
Yeah.
Stops the crew.
Yes.
Because two things have happened.
Yes.
First, the trumpets have stopped.
Yeah.
And second, there's about a dozen white cloaks at the other end of the bridge that are seemingly blocking their way.
Yeah.
And so Moiraine doesn't like this very much.
Yeah. So do we want to talk about the whole trumpets thing?
Nah.
Okay. You want to speculate? It's hard.
There's
it's hard
a
to figure it out.
bunch of things.
Like, it could have something to do because they did start, what was it, yesterday?
When the Aiel were almost retreating, it seemed like they're like going east.
Sure.
All the Aiel are heading east, and then the trumpets started.
Yeah.
Because Lan thinks that it was part of the attack, the trumpets, but then they just like never stopped.
Yeah, he like maybe thinks they were part of the attack.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like he was like, oh, is that guy's trumpets?
So like hypothetically, yeah, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say exactly what they're about.
Yeah, it could have been that. It could have been obviously not Rand being born because no one knows about that.
Yeah.
Like that's not a thing they're trumpeting.
No.
Yeah.
And it seems like it was something that Tamara and Guitar were on edge about because like they were waiting, and then it happened. They were like, oh, go see what it is.
Yeah.
So we don't know really yet.
No,
okay.
We don't.
But anyways, they stopped, so it's good.
Can you tell me, geographically in the world, where did Laman die? Do we know that?
We don't. We might presume in Cairhien.
But we know that Cairhien was burned.
Yeah,
and
it doesn't mean
wasn't
that...
found.
Yeah.
And then now they're like all over.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So would it have something to do with like Laman maybe being attacked and then, killed and now they've given up or something? Like maybe we just don't know where Laman actually physically is and where he died.
Yeah.
So that's the hard part.
Okay.
We don't know. But yeah, that's the speculation we can do.
Okay, and then the White Cloaks...
Yeah, they're just being dicks because that's what White Cloaks
and like
do.
maybe they are because they're not even close enough to really know what's happening.
No, they're just in the way, and they're doing. We've seen White Cloaks do this where they hang out.
Though.
Yeah, well, because they're not actually going to get in a fight.
Yeah,
with like tower guards and stuff. That's not what they do. They're showboaters.
Okay, so they're just like hanging out.
Yeah, they're blocking the path.
And then before anything can happen, the White Cloaks leave.
Yeah, they're being White Cloaks.
Okay. I just have a feeling it might be something more than that.
Okay.
I can't, like, express anything else, but...
yeah.
It seems like too strange a thing. I mean, I get that there was so much description, like that messenger walking through is
Sure.
probably a bigger deal than like one sentence of a messenger.
Sure.
But this also seemed a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, so they reach the edge of the town once they're over the bridge.
Yes.
And so Swan starts on her plan to get closer to Dragonmount, and she tells Steeler that they have a mission, and the women most likely to leave before hearing about the bounty are the ones in the camps that are further away.
Yeah.
And so Steeler's like, nah, no thanks.
Yeah, well, he doesn't buy it, and he was told to stick to the camps closest to the river, and that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And they're accepted, and he doesn't have to listen to what they say.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's a no.
Yeah, that's a hard no.
And now they head to the village of Allendare.
Yeah.
And it's been emptied of people. The village has a history of being burned down. A whole bunch of things are happening.
Yeah. Well, there's Aiel all over the place, so people boarded up their houses and they left because they don't want their village to be burned down.
But there's not Aiel here now.
No, it's an abandoned village right now. So,
and then at some point during this whole thing, Moraine thinks about how she's already decided to join the Blue Aja.
Yeah.
And she thinks that Swan might end up choosing green.
Yeah, there's an interesting thought process that goes on in Moraine's head here that I wanted to point out, because she's thinking about Swan, because Swan is being really stubborn right now too. And Moraine thinks, for someone as intelligent as she was, Swan was blind sometimes.
Ah.
And it's an interesting note, just because we know what happens with Swan. She misjudges a bunch of things and gets stilled because of it.
Yeah,
so,
we do know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just kind of seeing the full circle on that.
Yeah. So they make it to the first camp, which is about 2 miles out of that village.
Yeah.
And there's a whole lot of people here, lots of workers, women, children, and there's already an accepted sitting at a table with 4 guards around her.
Yeah.
And a lineup of over 50 women.
That's a lot for one person. There you go.
Well, and that's so many in one village to have had a baby in the past, month.
One camp. Oh, yeah. But that's what I'm talking about, is the pattern. Like, the most logical explanation is the pattern is pumping out babies.
You know what? I'll take it. I like that explanation better than they just like banging during wartime.
It's kind of like when you don't know what's happening, it's probably a dream.
Yeah.
When you don't know why something is happening, it's the pattern. Yeah. It's a super easy way to cover it. So.
All right. So then they ride for another mile and they reach the next camp, which is even bigger than the first. And this is where they're going to be setting up to take names.
Yes.
And Moraine isn't excited. Like, there's a bunch of Mirandans here.
Mirandians.
Here. Because they're a prickly bunch of people.
And they're always fighting duels and stuff.
Ah.
We don't know much about Mirandy.
Yeah. We know about Lugard.
Yeah, we do. A little bit.
But Lugard doesn't consider themselves Mirandian.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah, I don't really get it.
Yeah.
But Moraine doesn't like them. I don't think Moraine likes most.
It kind of comes
people?
out. Kind of comes out in the descriptions here, especially once we're into it.
Yeah.
She's like, ugh, Mirandians.
Yeah, well, she's just like, yuck, people. Other people I have to talk to, gross.
Yeah.
That. But anyways, luckily there's some fire pits here to keep them sort of warm, so she thinks this might not be so bad.
Yeah. And then next chapter, it's like, this is terrible.
Write a couple names. Find the Dragon Reborn.
No big deal. The one woman be like, I named him Dragon Reborn, and he was born on the slopes of Dragonmount.
And she'll be like, cool.
Yeah,
thanks.
you can have him. Here, just take my baby.
Right.
No.
Okay.
But
that's the end of that chapter, that very riveting chapter.
Yes, I know. I get why you liked it so much, so, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move to the next one.
I know. Chapter 5. This one, I like.
Okay.
This one's pretty good.
We're in the thick of it here.
Yeah. The human heart.
Yeah.
Wants what it wants.
Yeah.
Wants to be banging. Right? That's what that is?
I guess so.
Yeah. So the chapter symbol is the wheel and snake. The pattern, I guess.
It's all pattern.
Okay. So Moraine and Swan get up on their stools. There's close to 100 women in line already.
Yeah.
And they're being pretty unruly.
Because they're Mirandians.
And then or just because they're greedy women.
Oh, it's Mirandians.
Anyway, we have noble women and commoners just shouting at each other. Steeler's doing his best to shout at everyone who's shouting.
It's crazy, it's not even working.
It's not working to calm everyone down, turns out. Swan climbs up on her stool and uses the power to do some voice enhancing.
Uh-huh.
And her voice booms like thunder to carry over everyone. And she says, "Shut the heck up, everybody! You all suck!"
Yeah.
Now
You
she
want to
says,
keep acting like children? I'm going to treat you like children.
yeah, she says, "Be quiet." And then everyone stops, and then some babies start crying,
Yeah,
which is funny.
It's actually kind of funny because there's a bunch of times in this chapter we get to see Moraine watching Swan kind of take control of people and get them to listen to what she's saying.
Right.
So it's like she's taking charge.
And we got last time that Swan is the natural leader of the two.
Yeah, exactly. So we get to start seeing that actually come out here. So
yeah, okay. Now it's gonna start. The
name recording?
The name recording is going to start.
We're starting. We're going.
We're starting.
Okay.
They're lined up. They're lining up properly. They're settled down mostly.
Yeah.
And the first noble lady comes up to Moraine to give her information.
And she's the worst.
It's about as exciting as we'd expect.
Yeah.
She lists way too much information and then brags about how she's going to have the coins framed so her son will always know he was honored by the White Tower.
Yeah, so just like in case you don't hate nobles already, it's just painting the picture of like...
You're first in line.
Nobles suck so bad.
Yeah.
Gonna frame all the coins.
Yeah. Well, Moraine is like, well, shit.
Yeah.
There's gonna be thousands honored if other villages are anything like this.
Yeah.
And
it's like, your kid's not that special.
And this is when she's thinking like, I can't believe this. And I also am thinking... This is wild.
Yeah.
But then Moraine also realizes she basically knows nothing about babies and their ages or what they look like.
Yeah.
So people can definitely lie and she'll have no clue.
Well, it's really funny because right at the beginning she thinks that and immediately she looks at Swan because she's like, I don't know how old this baby is. And then she watches Swan writing down information for a bigger baby. So Moraine's like, well, okay, I guess just like whatever, right? Because we're just going with it.
Yeah.
It's not our job to like filter through. We just take down
turns
information.
Out we're just doling out bajillion dollars.
It's a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how we're doing it.
It's worth it.
I guess so.
To find the Dragon Reborn, which I doubt they're gonna do. If that's ever gonna be your question for me.
I was gonna ask it like probably in like a page, but I'm gonna ask it now. So do you think that we are gonna get somehow, some way, some shape, we're gonna get a tidbit of information that's like, boy, 2 rivers, mom died, something, father took him. Like, are we going to get a little hint just for us as a reader?
Maybe.
And they're just going to skip over it because we get in this chapter, they're just going through tons of names.
Yeah.
Are we going to get like a little, just like an Easter egg of just a
I would
little
say
nugget of gold?
Not from this scheme.
Okay, not from this, but like...
I don't think this, like, going out and writing names of babies down.
Yeah. You don't think we're going to get it?
I just don't.
Even just for us, the reader, like, they might skip over it completely, but like, we might see it?
Not if it's on the slopes of Dragon Mount, like, they won't skip over it, right?
Okay, yeah.
So...
Okay.
Unless that's the plot point,
well, I mean,
and that's what leads them on their search.
I mean, Rand's particular birthing story is so unique.
Yeah. And they would have to interview, like, I guess
someone who saw Tam take the baby, or someone who knows.
Or saw a woman give birth and die, and then they just left the screaming baby.
Yeah, it was the middle of like, who knows? So, okay.
I just don't see this actually yielding the results that could be expected.
Yeah, no, that's good. I just want to see if you...
Yeah, I'm going to go with no.
Okay.
Anyway, so Moraine notices that there's a woman who isn't in line, and she's clearly avoiding it.
Yeah.
So she asks the lady...
The first noble lady jerk face.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Moraine doesn't do a very good job of telling this noble what to do.
Yeah.
But fortunately, her servant jumps in to give the information on this other lady.
Yeah.
So it turns out she had a man...
Yeah, so the lady had a man who she wanted to marry.
Yeah.
But he went to become a warder, so now she's married to a different man that she doesn't like very much. So now she's all like pissed off at the tower. But she's mad at the tower because like the first man ran away to become a warder.
And Moraine just thinks like, I wonder if that guy actually became a warder.
Yeah, and
apparently
like, who knows?
It's not just easy to run off and become a warder.
Well, no, they're like the best of the best of the best.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Whatever Moraine thought this day was going to be like.
She's mad at the White Tower, so she doesn't want the money from the White Tower. And it's just adding to the whole, like, it's a complicated situation, and you're not going to get every single person.
And it's like, I still need to know when your baby was born.
Give me your baby's information.
Is there any chance it was Dragon Mount yesterday? That's all I want. That's all I need to know. And then, give me that baby!
Someone stop that lady. She's stealing the Dragon Reborn.
Oh my god.
Alright. So that might happen. Okay. And then it's more complicated.
I just can't imagine, like, if someone is like, yes, this is my baby born on Dragon Mount yesterday, then what?
But this is the thing, too. The other complicated thing is people can lie. They
and
might not give right information.
It's like, even if...
Okay, moving's, like, less common.
No. Let's say some accepted somewhere who has no idea what's happening, like Sherry Am, just goes, writes down, born on Dragon Reborn.
Yeah.
Or, no, born on Dragon Mount, scooped up by a soldier.
Yeah.
No one knows where he went.
Yeah.
So we get that information, and then it's like...
That's a hot lead. You gotta hunt that down.
Or if somebody's like, yes, my baby was born on the slopes of Dragon Mount yesterday, and we write that down.
Yeah.
And then that goes to a pile.
Yeah.
That's going to be scribed so we can read it.
Yeah, and then we're going to find that baby.
But how are you going to find that baby?
Through investigatory...
What if they leave? Like, what's your plan here, Tamara?
This is like stage one. This is like step one of a 7-step plan.
This is a bad plan.
Step one, write down the names.
I didn't talk about this last time. This is a terrible plan.
Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's a bad plan.
I think I understand it too well because it's not very well thought out.
This is the fake plan to distract from the real plan that's currently happening.
I could get more on board with that.
Okay.
Actually.
That's what it is then.
Yeah.
It's the pattern.
Okay.
Anyway,
this day is not going well.
No, it's going very slow. Like, she's feeling it going slowly, just as we're feeling it's going slowly.
Asking the same questions over and over. It's cold. People are annoying. It's all miserable. Moraine looks over at the women who are currently pregnant because who knows? Maybe one of those babies is the Dragon Reborn.
Gonna have to get what are you gonna name where are you gonna have that baby?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
So, but probably not.
Yeah.
And then some other accepted will probably find him, and Moraine won't find out for years, and that isn't fair.
Oh my goodness.
This is like a Egwene moment.
Oh, very much so.
It's not fair.
But consider that Moraine, like, understands Nynaeve and Egwene, like the Emmons Fielders, a lot more than we may have thought originally.
I don't know, does she, though? Because think back to when you were an asshole teenager thinking about, all the asshole teenager things you were thinking.
Sure.
It's hard to really have that perspective. When you have an asshole teenager, like, talking back to you, you don't think to yourself, I have good perspective on this because I once was an asshole teenager.
Well, maybe you don't, but I'm totally gonna think that.
No.
Okay.
I think it really just gives insight to us, the reader.
Okay, fine.
That there's growth to be had.
Yeah.
So now it's close to midday, and a slim woman, like a gauntly slim woman.
Yeah, she's starving to death.
Comes up, whose name is Susa Wynn.
Yep.
With her baby Cyril.
Yeah.
And now even Moraine can tell that this child is way too big to be a newborn.
Too big.
And she's about to tell her to get lost, but Swan, without even stopping or looking up from what she's doing, puts her hand on Moraine's arm, and it takes Moraine a second to look at the situation. And this woman definitely needs the help.
Yeah.
And it's literally nothing to Moraine. So Moraine starts taking her information down.
Yeah, it's a very feel-good story.
You know what I forgot? So we're going to take all this information down.
Yeah.
And then somebody's going to come back to give them their money. So that's why they're not going anywhere.
Well, they have to collect it, yeah.
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 Okay.
But also,
that's
the money is better. The money's like a side effect here.
No. That's how you ensure they don't move around.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
They're going to sit in place and wait for you to come back with their money.
100 gold.
And then you steal their baby.
Right.
Yeah.
You buy their baby. I'm buying your baby for another 100 gold on top of the original.
I'm sorry that you thought I wanted to buy your baby.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Anyways, welcome to my TED Talk and how Moraine is actually Elaine and
my
Swan.
boss wants to buy my baby.
And Swan is Nynaeve. No. You gotta listen to this one.
Okay.
No, because Moraine is like dishing out the money.
Yeah.
And then Swan, even with the whole, like, later on, because Moraine gives her own penny.
Yes.
Swan's like, hey, obviously
that was too far.
The wisdom would have reimbursed for that, coin or whatever. So Swan is very stingy with her money because she didn't have money growing up, obviously. So, and probably doesn't have money still. But that's why she is Nynaeve and Moraine is Elaine. So there you go. Boom. Same.
Yeah, actually.
I know.
Humble roots, nobility.
There you go.
That's a very mirrored effect here.
Yep.
All right. Now, after Moraine has clearly broken some rules on this age limit, news spreads like a wildfire that Sousa Wynn's baby got written down, so a bunch of other women start filtering into the line.
And the one with, like, holding the
who's,
kid's
like,
hand.
literally walking a toddler up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it's worth a shot for 100 gold crown. Like, come on.
Yeah, you might as well try. Yeah. But Moraine puts this idea out of their heads pretty quick. Because
she says, I'm going to kill your baby.
No! She says, I could try healing your baby.
Yeah, but he might get killed. I might kill him.
Whoops. Then it seems that people get the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's lunchtime and they take a break to eat. Because we literally have nothing else to talk about right now.
Yeah, they're not even halfway through the names. It
sounds terrible.
Yeah.
A woman comes up and brings them some hot spiced wine, which sounds nice.
Yep.
She thanks them for helping Sousa Wynn and her baby, and Moraine thinks that the woman must have gone to the tower when she was young, since she seems to know the difference between accepted and Aes Sedai.
Yeah, she seems to like know what's going on here, so she's in with it, but she's not going to tell anybody, so it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. So Moraine and Siuan are finishing up their lunch, and then we get 2 Aes Sedai who come riding into the camp, followed by 1 warder.
Yeah.
And Siuan says,
no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Okay.
So the first one is Mylan.
Yes.
And she's one of the most respected women in the tower. And the other is Elaida.
Okay.
And Siuan launches into a "we're allowed to be here" speech.
You know, we get an interesting time frame here too, because at this point, Elaida's been Morgaze's advisor for close to 3 years.
Which I did find interesting.
Yeah.
Because I was initially thinking that Elaida was at the same point as them.
Yeah.
At this point,
because it seems like she's like a peer, but it's like, no, she was Aes Sedai before Moraine and Siuan.
Them. And the reason I was thinking they were all the same was because when it stated that they broke a record by being raised to accepted after only 3 years, they said Elaida was also raised to accepted after 3 years.
Yeah.
And so it sort of implied that it happened
it was
at
like
the same
stage,
time,
but not so much. Plus, we also had from Elaida's point of view of her remembering when they were accepted that Siuan and Moraine were like super BFFs.
Yes.
So, and this is where we kind of get like Elaida has a special interest in them for whatever reason we want to talk about. So, but yeah, that's what's going on right now.
Okay. Yeah, so this is where Siuan really wants to make sure that they know they're allowed to be here, and Mylan says, yeah, I know that, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then Elaida says to them, are you surprised to see me?
Well, she says, you are surprised to see me?
Yeah.
Remember, she has a weird speech pattern.
Yeah, she does. She goes, I reached Tar Valon just before the Aiel, but I've been busy. I'll call on both of you soon.
Because she has a really weird relationship where every time she
Mylan
comes...
sort of calls her on that.
She does. She's like...
don't pay attention to the accepted. They suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they're not... Why are you doing... This is not for you.
Yeah.
So what's that all about? Do you have any, like,
No, Elaida just is the worst. So...
Like a power control... Like, she's a control freak?
A little bit.
Wants to dip her hands in that, so...
We know that she has had foretellings in the past.
Sure.
And it's possible... Maybe Elaida has had some foretelling about Moraine and Siuan.
That's interesting. Okay.
Otherwise, she's just somebody who's the worst, and she doesn't like Moraine and Siuan.
Yeah, and it's like a weird power dynamic where she knows she can do stuff for the next little while.
Yeah.
Until they're raised to Aes Sedai.
Yeah, I think it's like Phaelin and Nynaeve.
Yeah, where it's like she's going to take advantage.
It literally sounds exactly the same dynamic.
Yeah, they can't do anything right now. And then they won't once they're Aes Sedai.
Yeah, it just seems like they rubbed her the wrong way.
Yeah, I get that.
A long time ago, and now...
I think we figured it out.
She has
there
the
you
upper
go.
hand.
Okay.
Yeah. Or foretelling. One or the other.
Okay. I feel like we would have heard about a foretelling from Elaida's perspective.
Not yet, though. I don't know. There's lots of books. All right. There's lots of books to be had.
That's fair.
Lots of books to be read still.
Okay.
Now, Mylan has a brief conversation about whether Moraine and Siuan have everything they need, and she says, some of the children came so unprepared.
Yeah, and then Moraine's like, yeah,
I'm so prepared.
Super prepared.
And then also make sure you're back before dark.
Yeah, there you go. That was the actual information they're here for.
Yeah,
so.
And then this is where Moraine asks if all the camps are like this.
Yes.
She would think that going to war...
all that stuff.
...would have people not thinking about banging. And then Maureen is immediately super embarrassed talking about sex because of her modest upbringing.
Super indecent to be discussing this.
Yes. And then Mylan's like, actually, it's the opposite. Everybody banging up in here.
Yeah, it
on
happens.
the threat of death.
Yep.
Also the pattern.
Turns out, pattern.
So suddenly, Mylan says, yes, Andrew, we'll go in a moment.
Yeah, this is interesting.
And this sparks the question that's in Maureen's head.
And was in your head.
And was in my head.
Yeah, this is what you've talked about.
Was disappointed in the answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you look for any, like, loopholes in here? So
not really.
Okay, you just read it at face value. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's always best to just trust what I say at face value. That's what I always say.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but she says, no, I can't read his mind.
Yes.
She straight up says that. And that was my speculation about Maureen and Lan in Eye of the World.
Yeah, she says, I can't read his thoughts. So it's like, I can't directly read his thoughts.
But
However,
they can sense each other's emotions and physical condition, so...
And she says, when you've had a warder long enough, you will know what he is thinking, and he will know what you are.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is another occurrence where we've had the Aes Sedai who responds out loud to the warder who clearly hasn't said anything.
Right. Yeah, and then we get the whole, you don't learn the weave for bonding a warder until after you're an Aes Sedai.
There's a whole bunch of stuff they don't teach you about warders until you are an Aes Sedai.
Right.
Still a bunch of secrets and question marks.
Right, and then so here's Elaine.
There's Elaine doing
just
bonding the warder.
Bonding a warder, but on pure instinct somehow.
So are you calling it, does Maureen somehow bond Lan ahead of time? Or is that going to be a legit...
No, she doesn't know how.
Not
this
yet.
This is from her perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, not yet.
No. It's when she's an Aes Sedai.
I mean, we still got 200 pages. We got time here.
Yeah, so, and I mean, like, I don't even know where this book is go or when it's going to end.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sure it's when she's an Aes Sedai.
Okay.
But this is when Elida's like, warders.
Yeah.
And then Mylan says, Reds probably have the best reason to have a warder.
Yeah, because they're out in the world, like, hunting down men who can channel.
It's
and
super
they're
dangerous.
Soldiers. It's dangerous. Like, you should have warders, and they don't.
Yeah, but, like...
But it's like, you do you, man.
You know what? Reds should be introduced to bonding female warders.
Oh, okay.
Because they detest men, and they don't want men to protect them.
Yeah.
But if you find some really good women...
Yeah.
Soldiers, such as, like, a Brigida...
I'm on board for that.
Or like any, you know how there's some obviously green battle Ajas, right?
Sure.
Women who like to fight and stuff. Find some of those who can't channel, bond them as warders.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah. I thought you were like bonding a green Aja.
No.
Like that, can that even happen?
Maybe, but...
Can you bond
actually, maybe.
Aes Sedai together?
Maybe.
So.
But, yeah, I'm talking about just like women who can't channel, but are like good at fighting.
I get what you're saying. That's a good idea.
Red should be introduced to that.
They should learn something about that. That'd be good. That'd be good.
Nah?
Okay.
All right. Now, Mylan and Elida leave, and Swan and Maureen get back to taking down names, and now it seems that the people aren't so sure that Maureen and Swan are actually Aes Sedai, so things get a little bit more chaotic.
Yeah, they lose a little bit of their power.
Of their cred.
Yeah.
And now all these gritty women are like pushing and shoving and yelling again. And then, when there's about a dozen left, Steeler comes up and is like, "Okay, it's time to go. I waited as long as I could.
Yeah.
Time to go."
Yeah.
Swan tries to protest, and the women still in line are protesting.
Yeah.
And then the women who first brought them the wine...
Yeah, the old lady, and then she brings her old lady friends, and it's like a gang of old ladies.
Distract Steeler for long enough so that Maureen and Swan rush through the last of the names.
Yeah. They just, like, surround him and cause, like, a little bit of chaos.
Yeah, and so now it's actually time to go. They head off on a quick pace to make it back to the city.
Yeah, more of that, like, horses trotting and cantering and walking and all that good stuff, right?
Except they go fast this time.
Fast.
Yeah, so they make it back, but they're the last ones in.
Yes.
And Steeler doesn't rat them out, though, for causing trouble or anything. Even with the guardsmen taking their horses, being kind of a jerk because he wanted to be out fighting Aiel, not babysitting accepted horses or whatever.
But it's like, come on, man, you don't want to go fight Aiel because you're probably going to die. Like, that's what happens.
They want. That's where the glory is.
Oh.
There's no glory in babysitting accepted.
Jeez.
Anyway.
Okay.
Swan and Maureen make it back to the accepted quarters.
It's a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
A lot of moving around here.
Oh my god, so many things happening.
I can feel it, so.
And somebody is waiting for them.
Katarine. An accepted.
Yeah, because Marianne?
Marianne?
I don't really
Marianne,
know.
the Mistress of Novices?
I didn't note it in the...
It's the Mistress of Novices.
Yeah.
Who is not Sheriam.
No,
who's not
because
Sheriam.
Sheriam's an accepted.
Sheriam's accepted.
Yeah.
I love the description of her in the next chapter.
Yeah.
It's like she sleeps like the dead.
Yeah.
It's such a heavy sleeper.
I know. That's funny.
Yeah.
So, this Mistress of Novices wants to see Moraine for some reason.
Ooh, yeah.
And Swan asks if Moraine wants her to come along too. But that's going to be a no.
Yeah.
So, hopefully whatever Marion wants won't take very long.
Yeah.
But I thought this was going to be the testing.
Oh, interesting. And it's funny because you probably thought there was going to be like a testing the next chapter too.
I did.
But they tricked you again.
Yeah, they tricked me.
It tricked you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured. It was a pretty good trick.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So Moraine makes it to the study and knocks, and then
Marion.
She's allowed in.
Yeah.
We skip the description of the study.
It's very simple.
Except that mirror is still in there.
Or okay. Yeah. Or maybe like not exactly the same. But
there. I'm sure it's the same. Because all the furniture is described as being hundreds of years old.
Yeah, it's like the same.
It's the same. And the mirror's up there so that you can see yourself when you're being punished.
Yeah, you watch yourself cry. It's great.
It's the worst.
Best form.
It's
Best form of punishment.
It's good.
Is it better than your shame form of punishment?
I think it's similar.
Similar. Okay,
yes,
same. Okay.
It's probably similar.
Let's talk about the reason for this meeting. This is good.
Lamon's dead.
Yeah, killed yesterday. Along with both of his brothers.
Yeah. And Moraine gives almost no reaction because she doesn't even really care.
She doesn't like them. They were like jerk pigs.
Yeah, they were awful.
Yeah.
Awful, awful people. And she's more sad about the father of that baby.
Yeah, with the dying mother.
The guy who slipped and fell and hit his head on a rock before the fighting even started.
Well, it's really funny because like she gives no reaction and then Marianne's like, okay, you must be in shock right now.
You can have the day off tomorrow.
It's supposed to be going poorly.
Like, no, I want to have something to do to keep my mind off of it.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Like Moraine clearly, so we did get the fact that it was her uncle, like Lamon's her uncle, but she clearly wasn't close. So, I mean.
And she didn't like her other uncles either. They all sucked.
But also, it is interesting to note that Lamon did die yesterday, so he died the same day that Rand was born.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like hand in hand, so.
Yeah, and don't we have that Rand's dad did something? He led the charge, right?
He was the one who got all the Aiel together, like the 4 tribes to come out of the waste.
Yeah.
And he was the leader of that. Mm. And very possibly it could have been, like, since Rand's dad was the leader, it could have been him who, like, took Lamon's head off if they captured him. Yeah. Because, like, as leader, you might think, like, the king would kill a king, right?
Right.
So it's very possible.
At this point in the story, Rand's dad is still alive and Tigraine is dead on Dragon Mount.
Tigraine's dead on Dragon Mount. Tam took Rand. And then Rand's dad, Janduin, goes back and then goes a little bit crazy and then gets killed by...
And then goes to the Blight. He gets killed by Luke.
Luke, who is...
Esam.
Who is Esam, but it's Luke.
Slayer.
Who's Slayer? Who's Tigraine's brother. Okay, boom. Rand's mom's brother. And
Moraine's...
cousin
or something?
Yeah, it's like cousin. Yeah. Because Taringale is the half-brother of Moraine... who marries Morgaze.
Yes. Oh, so Luke is Moraine's nephew.
Yeah, I'm terrible at but that's the thing is like, so Moraine is the half...
We'll get to it next chapter.
Okay, let's talk about it next chapter.
Yeah, next chapter. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, because it's really funny.
I needed a visual flow chart for that.
Moraine is totally...
We got a huge reveal next chapter.
Totally related to the Dragon Reborn sort of.
Oh, yeah. And Galad.
Yeah, yes. But that's what I'm talking about. It's like all royalty...
Galad is Moraine's nephew.
We talked about this when we got the history.
I know that.
But... all royalty is always like basically related, like Queen Elizabeth is related to like her
husband,
her husband,
yeah,
but it's like all that stuff too, and like of different countries, and anyways, it's great.
Okay, it's great.
It's great. It's fantastic. I love it. It's great.
All right, so after a bit of convincing, Marion, what did we say? What are we saying?
Marion.
No,
we have a Mieran already.
Do we?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Marion.
Merean.
Yeah, Marion. Marion.
Moraine goes back to her room after Marion's like, all right, fine, get out of here. Now, Moraine does say some prayers for her uncles because they're family after all. And then she tries to sleep, but she wakes up from nightmares. They're not about her uncles, about the Dragon Reborn. So she goes to Swan's room because she doesn't want to sleep alone.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is the first time this has ever happened.
This is,
It seems like they
all the time kind of thing.
Are together always.
Well, originally, even when that first one came in the last chapters, she was like, oh, I'm surprised you haven't moved in together.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, cool, do it up.
So Swan is having nightmares too, and she asks Moraine, what can we do? Even if they find him, what can they do for the Dragon Reborn?
Yeah, Moraine has some good points.
Moraine says they can bring him to the tower, they can protect him, and educate him because he can be guided.
Yeah.
And then Swan has a point and says, well, they can't teach him to channel.
Yeah.
And then she thinks about how Varen had said that a bird cannot teach a fish to fly.
Yeah, we've heard that.
That's what we've heard before.
A bunch of times, full circle there. So,
that's right.
And I mean, at this point, Varen is also like already an Aes Sedai for apparently a while.
Yeah.
From what it seems like. So Varen's pretty old, but And then we have like age limits on Aes Sedai, so that's cool too. Because we did learn that last episode.
Yeah.
But I do want to point out here that it is important that right from the beginning, Moraine thinks about how the Dragon Reborn needs to be educated in politics and war and history so he doesn't make mistakes. So, like, Moraine is all on the whole, like, let's teach Rand stuff.
She already knows.
Even if it's not just about channeling, I can fill in the gaps and all that other stuff.
Yeah, he needs to be here for the last battle, but he's gonna be more than that.
He's more than that, yeah. Which is like the two-sided coin, where it seems like some Aes Sedai think, oh, he
needs to sit in a
physically
cage
until the last battle, and you just like let him out, and then what?
Yeah, no.
But that doesn't seem to be what has to like. That's not how it works.
No. And the pattern's got other plans.
Yeah. Number one,
Moraine
make babies.
continues to think about a crying baby in the snow and a faceless man bringing down lightnings. And then that's where this chapter ends.
Yes. Okay. Then we can get into the next chapter with more Aes Sedai names.
More fun stuff.
More fun information.
Chapter 6. Surprise!
Surprise! Okay. We get a bunch of them. There's a bunch of surprises.
Surprises!
I like this.
Okay, the chapter symbol is the rising sun for Kyrian.
As is, hinted at the end of the chapter. So.
So we're still with Moraine. And, I'm wondering if the whole rest of this book is going to be Moraine. But
well, presumably we might get some land, too.
Yeah.
We got some land. We might get more land.
We might. Okay. But here we are with Moraine.
Yeah.
Continuing, they wake up the next morning to the sound of a novice at the door.
Yeah, a stupid one.
Yeah, well, she's here to tell them that all accepted need to go to the stables right now. So Moraine leaves to go back to her room.
Yeah, I said stupid because it's Setsuko.
She's bad at being
an Aes Sedai. She's terrible. She's a novice, and she's talked about running away a bunch of times, and she's not fit for Aes Sedai-hood. No.
They're basically going to teach her enough to...
Not die, and then
send her away.
This is the part where I like that. She goes to sleep on this, goes to knock on the next door, and it's Sheriam, and Sheriam sleeps like the dead, so...
Right. Okay, and at some point in this chapter, they call Sheriam slim.
Yeah, they do.
And Sheriam in 20 years from now
is not slim.
Is plump.
Well,
It's 20 years, man.
Maureen was out on the road walking, getting her 20,000 steps every day, and Sheriam was not.
Yes.
So there you go.
Okay, so Moraine meets back up with Swan, who's talking with Sheriam.
Yes.
And now Sheriam says that she heard it from a guardsman and then heard it from some other sisters, including Seraphel.
Yeah, I got the names of these ones. Okay, go. Seraphel.
Seraphel is the old sister who's attacked at the Drakkar scene in Arafel, isn't it?
No.
Yeah. No? What were their names?
Adelius and Vandine?
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
I thought I was... Yeah. I was... I really thought I remembered that
was good. That was a good attempt.
But they're in Arafel. That's a country, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why Seraphil.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I hate that so much. I really thought I remembered.
That was a good effort. But we do know, we've heard of Seraphel. She was also present at Matt's dagger healing ceremony.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I don't care about that.
Because you know who was at that? Was Sheriam, Varen, Seraphel, Alana, Anaya, and Brendas. It's just like, it's funny. But anyways, good effort. But how about Rima?
Yeah. She dead.
No. That's the name of the yellow Aes Sedai that Damen saw taken at Falma by the Shanshan in the Great Hunt.
Oh.
And she's like, don't forget me! And it was really sad because then we saw her again as Pura in The Shadow Rising.
Yeah.
And she was being questioned by Suroth about the Dragon Reborn.
Yes. Okay.
So she's here. And then the other one we don't know. So
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know anything.
Good efforts. You know what? You tried, and that's what I care about.
I did try, but I really failed.
That's okay.
I'm so bad at this. Okay. Now, anyway, the news that she heard from all these people is that the Aiel are retreating back into the waste.
Yes, it seems that way.
Because apparently Swan and Moraine are grinning like idiots at this news.
Yeah.
And Sheriam's like, you two are weird. See ya.
Yeah.
But it turns out they're really happy because now they for sure will be able to convince
they can get closer to Dragonmount.
To go near Dragonmount because there's no threat of Aiel out there.
Yeah. But wait, there's more.
Yeah. Mirian.
Yeah, the Mistress of Novices.
Marine.
That's the worst way to say it. But yeah, that's fine.
The Mistress of Novices is here.
Yeah.
With a shawl
She's like
on.
super formal. This is the tricky part.
Yeah, it's weird. So like it's obviously written like this is important and big.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be tricked into thinking they're about to be tested right now.
It's either someone's in very big trouble or someone is being summoned for their Aes Sedai testing.
Yeah. And Miriam walks right up to Swan and Moraine. And Swan looks super eager and Moraine is just terrified.
Oh my god, not me. Please don't let it be me.
Yeah, but the actual news is that the Amyrlin agrees that Moraine must be in shock.
Very shocked. The lack of emotion.
So she can take the day off from the field work. But then Moraine's like, no.
I want to take a day off. Yeah.
But since she shouldn't be left to brood, the Amyrlin has agreed that she and Swan can spend the day copying out the list of names from yesterday that were too messy to read.
So what is this? Is this a plan within a plan within a plan? Is this like Planception?
Oh, I believe probably.
Because now that Tamra is like, hey, I'll get these two people who know what I'm looking for to look through the master list, but she couldn't like just let them do that from the beginning because that'd be suspicious.
Yeah.
But now there's a reason. Is she just going with it?
Maybe.
So it's like this Planception.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like from the beginning, Moraine was like, this sucks. I hate this. And I was thinking, no, this is much better. This is literally exactly the same thing that you would be doing out there.
Only better because you get to see everyone.
And you're not cold.
Yeah.
And you don't have to deal with annoying people.
So it's interesting because Swan, who becomes
Did you know
Amyrlin,
I don't like dealing with annoying people?
I figured that.
Yeah.
I've known that. So that's why half the time you don't like dealing with me, but that's okay. But...
Good jokes.
Okay, but seriously, Swan is when Swan is Amyrlin, we know her as a sneaky, like, plan within plan kind of person.
Yeah.
And you have to assume...
Is that just all Aes Sedai?
Or is that, like, specifically to Amyrlin's? Like, you have to assume she gets to that position because she's good at things and having plans, so you gotta
Especially if you've been alive for 150 years.
Yeah.
Which typically you have to be.
To be Amyrlin. Yeah, from what it
Amyrlin.
sounds like. So... It's like you probably get pretty good at this kind of thing, and you have to assume Tamra knows what she's doing.
Look at the growth Moraine has had in a mere 20 years.
Yeah, throw 120 on that, and you're like good to go.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
But anyways.
Now, Marine. What did we say? Marianne shows them where they can do their work. And she leaves, and then Swan thinks that this is good now.
Yeah.
Because they can see way more names, maybe all of them. And so she says that they can be the first to find out who he is. And then she goes, wait a minute. Why are you supposed to be in shock?
And why do you need the day off?
Yeah, and Moraine's like, oh.
Yeah.
King Laman's dead.
Yeah, my uncle and his brothers. So a bunch of my uncles are dead.
Yeah.
You know what? I love this story from Swan.
Mm.
It's good. Because you should know why from the story. Okay, here's the story. Swan talks about having 6 uncles who were fine men and 1 who died, proving how fine a man he was. Who was that man?
No.
What?
Was it really?
What?
The guy from Tyr? The wise woman's husband who died?
No.
Okay. Because, okay.
That was a conspiracy theory about, like, oh, is this Swan's family and all that stuff.
I thought it was actually going to be revealed here that that's actually who it was. And I was like, no, that's so bad. I hate that.
No, Swan has a story about, and that she tells Matt, like, hey, I knew I had an uncle who was, like,
who had a redeeming... Yeah.
Who was, like, into gambling and women and drinking and stuff, but he basically died rescuing children from a fire.
I remembered the wrong obscure fact.
Yeah. And she was like, are you going to be that man who dies for a good cause?
Yes.
So it's like, boom, she had that uncle, full circle callback, so.
There he is. But he did have a redeeming quality, whereas Laman and his brothers clearly did not.
Yeah, and that's why the second part of Swan's story is like, hey, but a couple of those guys are like bastards, and it doesn't matter.
They suck.
Yeah. Screw them. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. We also didn't talk about how Maureen's dad seemed to escape being terrible.
Maureen's dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we get that Maureen's dad was nice among the, like, shitty brothers?
Maureen's dad is dead?
Now. Yes.
Yeah, now currently.
He was nice.
Yeah, whilst alive.
Yes.
He was
not like the shitty uncles.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. All clear. We're good.
Moving on.
That weird fisherman's family or whatever wasn't.
Mud. Yeah, that's what I honestly kept thinking about was going to be revealed here, and I was going to be mad.
Oh, no, yeah, that's so funny. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
And then we get another introduction to one of our
Laris.
other favorite characters.
Laris, the mistress of kitchens.
She's younger.
But it's Swan who gives her that title.
Yeah, it is. Full circle. There's so much full circle here.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Because Laris is just a cook here.
Yeah.
And she's not, like, head of the kitchen or whatever. And she's not Aes Sedai, so she has, like, a regular lifespan.
Yeah.
So she's, like, 20 years older, and that means a lot more to a regular person than it does to an Aes Sedai.
Turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when they're eating breakfast, everyone's scurrying around, and Maureen and Swan just hang out. But then Laris comes out and tells them to scram.
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah. Well, and, like, Laris is the one who helps Swan escape, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Like, after being stilled.
Right.
Full circle.
With Min.
Elmindrada.
Fair, yes.
Because she was like, hey, back in my day, I was, like, a pretty young thing. And here, the description of Laris is, not so shabby.
Really?
Yeah.
I missed it.
Well, it doesn't really give much, but...
Okay.
Yeah, Laris was short of her middle years, and more than pretty.
Ah, good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Laris, we like her. We love her. Why not?
Why not? So then they get to work after breakfast.
Writing names.
Transcribing names.
Yep.
And Maureen thinks, you know what, this actually isn't so bad.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Warm, no people.
I could do some clerical work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? Except Swan hates clerical work.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of these are like extremely, extremely vague.
Yes.
And terrible.
Especially with the locations of the birth, like within sight of the White Tower. It's like you can see that for miles.
Yeah, it was like, or the tower, or the walls, or the even Dragon Mount for a couple of them, so.
And there are some entries that have sad stories attached to them, and some have no recorded villages, only nations. Yeah. So this is terrible.
It's going to be a hard trek to find the Dragon Reborn.
Yeah.
It's going to take like roughly 20 years.
Yeah.
Give or take.
So they work until lunch and they take a break and then head back to work.
Yeah.
And then that's when Elida shows up to stare at their work and then leave abruptly, like a weirdo.
So like nothing happened. Like it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's building to something.
I hope so.
Okay.
They go transcribing names until the next day.
Yeah. Well, they go for sleep. They sleep. They have nightmares.
They have nightmares. Okay. And then they wake up, and then Swan's like, well, no one told us not to go back.
Yeah.
So let's just go back and start working.
Yeah.
And hope nobody says anything.
And it's like kind of good.
So then that's what they do. But then, they're working for a minute, and some clerks come into the room to take over, and these clerks are pissed.
Hate it. This was my job. My job was to transcribe these.
I'm going to go tell on you to the Amyrlin.
Or was that's the thing. Was this like an internal plot? Like, why would the Amyrlin, spend her time doing this? It was kind of like when Swan was doing her random rounds to check in on the girls in the tower, but was like covering it up. So...
Yeah. I don't know, because, Tamra comes back and studies them for a second and was like, well, I intended on giving you a free day to study or read or practice for your testing, but are you still troubled by the news of your uncle?
And she's doing the thing where she's, like, asking but, like, nodding. She's like, are you still troubled? Yes, you are troubled? Okay. Yeah.
Well, if you think you need to be occupied, you can keep working here. And then when you're done, when you get bored, you leave a note and I'll replace you.
Yeah.
And then the clerk's like, no.
This was my job. Yeah.
But anyway, after about an hour of writing, Moraine comes across a name that she pauses on.
Wait, you didn't want to talk about the whole like ink stain and the Game of Houses stuff?
No.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, but it's important, and I'll tell you why it's important. Okay, so there's the ink stain. Tamara's like, hey, you better not use the power to get that out. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Well,
and Moraine's like, okay.
Do you want to read what it actually says?
No, I want my quick version.
Oh, okay.
Because
it's the actual phrase of it that's interesting.
Okay.
The only thing that's interesting here is the actual phrasing of it.
Oh my goodness. Okay. She says, ink is very difficult to remove, especially from white cloth. I won't tell you not to channel to do it. You already know that.
Yeah. And then she leaves, and Moraine's like, she just told me use the power. And Swan's like, no, she didn't.
But this is important, because Moraine is already frustrated with Swan because Swan is bad at the Game of Houses.
Yeah, and she's like, no, she literally just said, in a
non-saying way to say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is important for Swan's character because Swan is bad at the Game of Houses.
Yeah.
She doesn't do a good job. Like, I could objectively say she does a bad job as Amerlin.
Yeah.
Because it ends up with her getting stilled.
Yeah.
Because she didn't play properly, we could assume on some level.
Yeah, she definitely did not do
so it's like she's too like going hard at it.
Yeah.
Versus being subtle and roundabout. You got a Game of Houses.
Well, and my criticism of her in the regular series is that she's not flexible.
Yeah, she's too rigid.
She's too rigid.
Yeah.
And she can't think or adapt or move. It's just got to be this way and that's it. And then eventually, because she doesn't bend, she breaks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like it's an instance of her not picking up on those cues.
Yeah. All right. Now
we can move on. Okay.
Moraine comes across a name that she pauses on.
Yeah.
Born inside of Dragon Mount.
Yep.
Which, like, literally could be anywhere. Because,
yeah, it's not really much.
No. But it's possible. So she thinks about how the Dragon Reborn could just as easily, if not more likely, be born to a common soldier as to a lord. So she pulls out a blank piece of paper, and she thinks, this isn't technically wrong. And so she transcribes the name onto the blank piece of paper.
But then Swan
is doing the same thing in her little notebook.
Only better, because she already thought about it and is doing it.
Yeah, it's funny.
And then Swan's like, you need to get a notebook, idiot.
Yeah.
So they do that, yeah.
Yeah, and by midday, they already have 9 names in Swan's notebook.
Yeah, so this is kind of like the idea is you have these gigantic lists, you're going to narrow it down to who might be a better possibility, and then you go individually check up on every single one of those people and steal or buy the babies. There you go, boom.
We're buying
the babies.
My boss wants to buy my baby.
Okay. It's been so long, you can make that joke again.
I know.
So it's great.
All right, so now we get another big surprise. Because an Aes Sedai named Jarna, who is a sitter for the Grey, comes in and asks Moraine to take a walk with her.
Yeah.
And Moraine's like, oh shit, what kind of trouble am I in?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Sitter for the Hall of the Tower. Big deal.
But she's asked, how are you dealing with the death of Lawman?
Yeah.
And then she cuts right to the chase and is like, hey Moraine, who is going to ascend the throne of Cairhien now?
Yes. So I got the answers for you here. Because Moraine says, like, I don't think that it's going to be Damodred's. I think another house is going to take over.
It's going to pass to another house.
Yeah, because... And Jarna agrees, like, Lawman's damaged the Damodred name and reputation.
And Moraine's like, well, they've done that for themselves.
Yeah, and this is where we get a bunch of the Familia stuff. So Moraine's half-brother, Terengale, is denied the throne of Cairhien because of his marriage to the Queen of Vandor, Morgase, and that's not going to change basically ever. So technically Moraine is like sister-in-law to Morgase because Terengale is her half-brother and he married Morgase, and thereby Moraine is like sister-in-law to Morgase.
That's right. Now we have Tigraine and Luke being Moraine's niece and nephew, and we have Galad. I said that funny, but we have what's his name?
Galad.
Being the other nephew.
Yeah, I'm bad at that stuff. I need a flowchart for this because I can never keep those relationships.
So what I said was right.
Okay. We know that there's some sort of connection either by blood / marriage.
Oh, for sure.
It's definitely there.
Well, no. Oh, yeah. No. Yeah.
No, yeah, no,
Yeah, for Rand, it's by marriage. But for Galad, it's by blood.
Okay, there we go. Because Galad is the son of Tarangale.
Yeah. Just
the
regular
issue is the half situation.
It's the regular aunt by marriage.
It's very confusing.
Yeah. It's
family
not great
dinners. Yeah. It's like the family reunion dinners. Everyone will be there.
This entire conversation might be cut out.
I love it.
Depends how it sounds.
Okay, but
it
also
probably sounds terrible.
Maureen has 2 older sisters.
Right. Who just love being mothers or something, and also
one is a great mother but kind of stupid.
Yeah.
And the other one likes horses and hawking. And she's has a temper.
Yeah.
So she's not gonna. So that's not gonna happen. The point is, Damodred name isn't gonna go so hot with the whole succession in Cairhien.
Yeah.
And that's the important part of that conversation.
Yeah. And then as that conversation was going on, I was thinking, oh, I bet they want Moiraine to take the throne.
Ah, there you go.
Because the Aes Sedai want to control the White Tower wants to control everything.
Yeah.
And
then Urge's like, hey, if you didn't get it, I'm going to send in 6 other sitters to do the same thing. And then one of those, which is a red, she's going to be like, hey, Moiraine, have you thought about being the Queen of Cairhien before? Because that's on the table.
And Moiraine's like, over my dead body, would I be the Queen of Cairhien? Absolutely,
if
never.
If that's how it's gonna go. Then.
Yeah.
But that leads to an interesting question because she starts thinking how am I gonna get out of this one? Am I gonna
have to leave?
I gotta leave. I'm gonna ditch out here. So
which she does.
Well, she does. We know.
But what's the reason?
And how does that actually go ahead with Swan becoming Amyrlin and Moiraine going on this crazy worldwide adventure? How does it actually play out?
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
But you're right.
That's actually the end of this chapter.
Yeah, that's it. And
now, next time, we are going to be discussing chapters 7 through 10.
7, 8, 9, 10.
7, 8, 9, 10. But here's the thing.
Same number of pages.
Less
pages. Oh my goodness. These are short chapters.
These are literally nothing chapters.
Quick. Yep.
In terms of length, so should be just fine.
Yeah. That's going to be good.
Yep.
But 4 chapters, we're going to bust through these. We're almost done.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So now, before you have to go and buy a bunch of babies, and then also convince some people that you're in shock over the death of your uncle who you don't care about, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, edited by Dani, produced by Dani and Brett with Essen, Passion Socks, Mozyme, Moltude, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jamie Young, Cody Fouts, Megan Smiley, and Jonathan Reese, with music by Audionautics.com. If you're interested in supporting us and the podcast, you can head over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. And for all things The Wheel Weaves, like how to get in contact with us, how to find our social media, how to join our Discord, how to send us really cool shot glasses, and for just general information, you can find us at thewheelweavespodcast.com. And as always, please remember to tell a friend about us, leave that 5-star review, and hit that subscribe button. Thanks again for sticking around to the end. This is really part of the pattern now.